Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the one of the inaugural uh, live streams on the That Dad Zach station, if you will. Now, I'm going to be looking at three different areas because I've got Instagram live over here. Ron, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. We're just doing a hangout tonight to talk about life, to talk about parenting, some of the challenges of parenting, particularly if you've got kids who have some special needs. We've got an ADHD kiddo in the family, Cora. But I've got Instagram, my Instagram viewers over on this side. I've got Facebook viewers over here, and I've got my YouTube audience over here. Um, and you guys are on an iPad that's slightly tilted, so I apologize if you get a little of the nostrils. But guys, I want to start doing this on a semi-regular basis. So in lieu of a video on Saturday this week, we're going to do a live stream tonight, and just to test the waters and see how it goes. Now, ideally, in the background, we'll have some prettier things going on, but let's dive right in to the fun. So, for those of you who don't know much about our family, who might be new to the That Dad Zach channel, we are a family of ADHDers, namely my daughter Cora. She's 5 years old, is an ADHDer. Additionally, I'm an ADHDer. And so we're faced with some real challenges sometimes. My mother-in-law just logged in. Hi, Mom. Welcome to the live stream. Uh, so one of the biggest challenges that we've been facing on a fairly regular basis with Cora is her sleep patterns. Let me tell you, oh my gosh, you guys, sleep deprivation is real, and it is a challenge that I'm not exactly sure how to deal with. Um, we're not exactly sure how to deal with. We actually acquired a weighted blanket tonight, thanks to mother-in-law Renee Steiner Passage, who's logged in right now on Facebook. So welcome, Mom. Thanks for picking up the weighted blanket for Coco. Um, and that one, we thought of getting a weighted blanket for her because we've heard that children with autism, oftentimes having that weighted blanket, that feeling of being like hugged, that extra pressure, actually is a really good thing for them and helps them relax. And ADHD and autism share some similar things on the spectrum, and so we thought that maybe that could be a really good thing for her. So she's in her bedroom right now with the weighted blanket. Um, we did a little bit of we gave her a little bit of melatonin to help her system calm down a little bit more. We put the weighted blanket on top of her, and then Daddy went in tonight with his special headphones, and we listened to some really calming music. There's actually a song from Marconi Union that was Marconi, I think it's Marconi Union, that was ADHD, always doing hilarious doings. Yes, Ron, always. um, a song by Marconi Union that was specifically written to invoke sleep. Thanks, buddy. Love you too. Um, it's very ethereal. I forget the name of it. I'll post it in the comment section when we repost the stream later. But it's designed that the song was written to invoke sleep, and so I thought, well, gosh, maybe if we give Cora these headphones and let her sit under her weighted blanket for a little bit, it might be good enough to help her relax and chill and actually get to sleep and stay in bed. But then the other challenge is, how do you get her to stay in bed all night long, particularly not get up at the butt crack of dawn. Uh, we have been dealing with Cora getting up earlier and earlier, and I don't know if the ADHD has anything to do with that, or if she just doesn't require as much sleep as other kids. I'm not positive, but she has been getting up at 3 and 4 in the morning, and let me tell you, it can be rough. I'm usually the one who gets up to greet her, if you will, and my wife Sarah works at Starbucks a few times a week. Hi Sierra, thanks for logging in on YouTube. You're awesome. Appreciate you being here. Um, somebody, Trump is king. Thank you for being here. Um, maybe not the place to. We're not going to talk politics on here. We have a question coming in from Sierra. Do the kids ever hang on to Dad's legs as he walks? Let me see if I can bring up the chat window here. Um, let's see, where's my chat? I might have to pull it up over here as well. We are, so for those of you just jumping on board here, we are chatting about just some things surrounding parenting, particularly parenting kids with ADHD or special needs. My daughter has ADHD, and we have been dealing with some major sleep issues, trying to get her to stay asleep. And we're hoping that the advent of the weighted blanket that we brought in tonight, coupled with some really calming music and some duct tape. Renee says duct tape. We're hoping that the combination of these things will actually help keep her calm, help her to go to sleep faster, sleep deeper, and hopefully stay in bed longer. This morning, I was woken up at 4 o'clock to the sound of her bellowing down the hall. I'm usually the one who gets up to address her when she wakes, and that's no fun for me. Hi, Mimi. And sleep, if you're a parent, you understand sleep is important and sometimes it's sparse. But going on like 2 weeks of getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and it's starting to weigh pretty heavily on me. And so I would love to hear from you guys, anybody who might be tuning in at the moment. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. If you've got any tricks or have tried anything in the past, if you're empty nesters, that have worked for you to keep your kids in bed or to help them get to sleep a little bit quicker. I know that routine is typically a really good idea for kids and it works really well. So anything that you have that might work, I would love to hear from you. I am just going to jump over to YouTube here and see if I can pull up the chat. Yeah, I wanted to be able to see the chat at the same time here. Sierra, I see your message. Let's see. Sierra Ackler asks, do the kids ever hang on to Dad's legs as he walks? You should video that. It would make a great dad leg workout. Love your page. Sierra, thank you so much. And yes, I often have the kids clinging to my legs as I tromp around the house, and it definitely gets the burn moving, if you will. I try to interact with them by doing some wrestling and things like that when I get home after work, so it kind of helps burn off a lot of that energy, especially since Wednesday through Friday I'm getting home after 5:30 and almost 6 o'clock and they typically go to bed between like 7 and 7:30. So I try to get in that roughhousing time a little bit with them. Let's see. I don't have a Sierra. I don't have a vlog of that yet, but because you asked, I promise you'll see some. You'll see some vloggity goodness of that coming up in the near future. If you're just joining us, this is the inaugural That Dad Zach live stream. We're going to do this periodically where we just hang out. We talk about life. We talk about parenting. We talk about the ups and downs. Joel Latta is joining me right now live on Instagram. Joel is an old friend of mine from years ago up in good old Mount Vernon. Cedro Woolley used to play in worship team together. Joel's an amazing man of God. We love him to death. So, buddy, I'm happy you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. But we're talking parenting. We're talking life. Joel Latta, I miss you, buddy. I miss sitting in your parents' basement playing violent video games. Just saying. Just saying. We got to make that happen. Make that happen. So, as far as Cora's sleep is concerned, I'll use tonight as an example. So far, so good. It's actually been a lot quieter than it usually is in her room. So I'm hoping that that weighted blanket is really doing something amazing. But let's see if we can get some questions in here. Looks like we've got some more people joining on Instagram. We've got a few viewers on YouTube. And what are we looking like on Facebook right now? Yeah, Renee Steiner Passage is my mother-in-law on Facebook Live right now, and she's saying that the kids hang on me quite a bit. That is absolutely accurate. I'm a bit of a glorified jungle gym. Julia Wiley, thank you for tuning in on the That Dad Zach Facebook page. We're so excited you're here to hang out with us. We've got Daniel.es56 on Instagram. Shout out to you. That was a high five, not a smack in the face or a face palm. We're just happy you're here. Let's get some questions rolling. What would you guys like to see in the future on the That Dad Zach YouTube channel? We would love to find out from you what kind of content you would find most exciting and interesting. We're always doing research to try to figure out what types of things parents are looking for, what families are searching for as a family vlog. The challenge is that the family vlogger sphere is actually fairly saturated. I think back in the day when family vlogs really became popular, it kind of exploded. And so much like I think reality TV really, where we saw all of these different types of shows popping up, everything became reality TV. I think vloggers on YouTube, it just kind of exploded. And so we're working really hard to make the That Dad Zach YouTube channel a success. We want it to be a place where you can consume content that's going to be encouraging and uplifting, but also maybe challenge you in some ways when talking about parenting and things like that. We've got Aaron requesting some dad jokes. You know what, Aaron? Aaron, you're on. We're gonna find some dad jokes. So I'm jumping on Google here. Apologies to anyone on the Facebook live stream as I'm streaming from my MacBook there. Let's get some some dad jokes. Best dad jokes ever. Let's start rolling with some bad dad jokes. Let's see here. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, no atmosphere. Huh? Yeah? That's a good one, right? I can't even, dude. I can't even. What else we got? Let's see. More dad jokes. Let's see here. Want to hear a joke about paper? Never mind, it's terrible. It hurts me. That hurts my heart. That hurts my heart. We're going to wave at a couple people on Instagram here. Instagram family, we're so excited that you over here are joining with us. We are launching the That Dad Zach live streams, just hanging out, chatting about life. Well, here's a little tidbit that some of you might not know. I think a vast majority of my patrons, if you will, on Facebook probably know that I'm a musician, a songwriter, a worship leader. But some of you on YouTube or Instagram might not know this. So yeah, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, and coming up in September, the band that I was a part of forming called Of Dust has got some pretty exciting things going on. We're going to be playing a gig to promote child sponsorship for World Vision in Seattle on a rooftop gig. So we're pretty jazzed about that. In fact, Ron, I don't know if you're still online or not, but Ron Turner is going to be joining us as our drummer. He does amazing work for us. So that's coming up. If you would like to hear any of the music that I've been a part of via worship, you can find me. I've got a YouTube channel for my music that you can take a look at. I haven't posted anything on there in quite a while, simply because I shifted my focus to my family and that type of content. Let's see here. What other questions do we have going on? Let's look. Let's look and see. I've received some questions via Instagram Messenger, but I can't really get to that. Aaron, yeah, Bud, we do. I do have some music on YouTube. In fact, I'll leave a link to that music in the comments here on the Facebook page after the stream, and you can check that out if you want. I have an album. In fact, if you are streaming right now and you would like to receive a free gift from me, just for tuning in, I'd love to send you a free link to download my album, The Creekside Sessions, in hopes that you'll enjoy it. If not, you can toss it aside and pretend like it doesn't exist. Let's see here. I hate awkward silences, and I try my best when I do things like this to avoid them, but I think that they're going to be inevitable. Let's see here. We're going to pull up some questions. Q&A. So here is a good question. Question is, what was your childhood like? And my childhood was actually great, frankly. I think one of the bigger challenges that I had growing up was the fact that I was part of the ADHD club. And I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 86, so the largest portion of my life was experienced in the 90s. And in the 90s, there wasn't really a whole lot of information available for ADHDers. And so essentially, when I was diagnosed, it came down to doctors saying, here, take this pill, it's called Adderall, and it will help you think better and you'll be able to focus, it'll fix your brain. So I started taking ADHD medication when I was a kid, and what I found was it just didn't make me feel very good. Adderall specifically didn't make me feel very good. I could focus a lot better when I was in school, but by the end of the day, since it's a stimulant, I crashed super duper hard and didn't have enough of the brain capacity left in me to really think clearly or create. And being a very creative person, I wanted to have the energy to draw. I love drawing and write my own music. It's around when I was starting to get into writing music. Instagram folks, I'm going to just shimmy you guys over a little bit so you're a little bit more right in front of me. Yeah, I think that's a wee bit better. So, I mean, ADHD for me was a challenge when I was a kid, but it wasn't defeating. I think that there were some things that it broke in me, and it kind of put up some barriers that I had to get over as far as learning how to function with the ADHD brain, the non-neurotypical brain. But as time has gone on, I feel like I've started to grasp some things. Not even close to having everything all together. I don't know that that's really my goal, to have everything all together. However, I think that was probably my biggest challenge. But other things in my childhood, gosh, I was your pretty average, dorky kid who had no fashion sense and was perfectly happy sitting in my blanket fort with a flashlight and either action figures, my sketch pad, or my old school Game Boy playing Pokemon Blue, because that's where it's at. That's where it's at. And you'll be happy to hear that I have created Pokemon lovers out of my children. That's right. That's how we do. That's how we do. Let's check over on the chat on YouTube. Not a whole lot going on there. We keep freezing up on Facebook. That's probably my bandwidth being eaten up by the 3 streams I have going at the moment. So, tell you what we're gonna do. Instagram family, you guys are amazing. Please come join us on either the That Dad Zach Facebook page, or click the link in my bio on my Instagram profile, and you can come on over and join us on YouTube. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream on Instagram just so we don't eat up all the bandwidth streaming to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Y'all are great. Come join us. Okay, so that's, we ended that. Hopefully that fixes some of the streaming issues that you guys are getting on Facebook. And let's see, there's nothing average value. Oh man, I appreciate that. No, I mean, I was really not a super exciting kid growing up. I have extroverted tendencies, but I'm very much an introvert. So spending my days sheltered in my room with comic books, or when I got into music, I really dove into songwriting, and so I'd spend hours writing music in my room on the guitar I found stuck, shoved to the back corner of my parents' closet with only three strings on it. Um, so yeah, my childhood was great. My folks are awesome. Have great siblings. What was I like in high school? Um, well, again, ADHD played a big part of my days in high school, and so uh, you know it was rough at times. It was rough at times, but uh, we did. Let's see, Sadie Mae says hi and kissed me through the phone. Oh, my little niece is watching the stream right now, and she gave me a kiss. Sadie Mae, you're amazing, and I love you. She likes that face. Um, when I found the thing that I was really passionate about, which was music, I latched onto that and began to excel at it very quickly. That's not me tooting my own horn. That's just the way that it worked. I was brought into the jazz band in middle school, which is typically had just the eighth graders. I was brought in seventh grade to play trombone. I played in jazz band all the way through college, and then in my freshman year in high school is when I jumped into choir and started really discovering that hey, I can kind of sing. Um, so beyond that, I really struggled through my other classes. I barely graduated because I had a really hard time staying, keeping up with everything else. Because all I wanted to do was dive into music and be creative. Let's see. Let's see. No, those are the dad jokes. I don't want the dad jokes. We're gonna skip on the dad jokes for the moment. What happy memory will you cherish forever? Well, gosh, I have so many incredible memories. It's gonna be hard to choose one, but and maybe this is kind of a cop out because I think almost every parent could say this, but um, the birth of my kiddos, my daughters, is probably two of the happiest moments that I'll ever experience, and I get to experience that a third time in February as we are expecting our third little munchkin, a little boy this time. Barrett John will be joining the Trandom tribe in the near future, so I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, the birth of my kids is probably the one that I will cherish most, beyond, of course, marrying my lovely wife, Sarah. Growing up, who inspired you the most? Who inspired me the most? I had, I think, a lot of musical artists that I looked up to, and Harry Connick Jr. I think was one of them. He was one of the first jazz artists that I really latched on to, memorized several of his albums from start to finish. I mean, I could to this day probably sing you every note in some of his piano solos, let alone the lyrics to his music. And I had a DVD of him performing live in New York City. I think it was in 1995 or 1996, with him and his big band, that really just made me look up to him as an artist and a person. I just had felt like he was a really solid guy, down to earth, and I just admired his character. Beyond that, goodness. You know, someone else I will always admire and look up to is are my pastors at the Rock Church in Monroe, near my old stomping grounds. Pastors who poured an incredible amount into my life, just added some incredible things to my life. So, Pastors Jeff and Melinda Knight, if you happen to catch this stream at any point, or even the after the fact, please know that you guys have played just a tremendous role in shaping me to the man that I am today. Let's see, some more questions here. What amazes me most about society nowadays? Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh my goodness. Um, I struggle sometimes with society nowadays. Um, but I am, from my perspective, I know that there are a ton of challenges that we still face. Uh, but I think we're beginning to see some of those challenges, some of those walls really crumbling. Um, at least I hope that that's what it is that I'm seeing. And I've kind of made it a point to connect with people who similarly share views with me, but also make sure that I'm consuming content that might challenge my views when I need to be challenged, so that I'm constantly learning and growing. But um, I'm amazed by um, groups of people who aren't afraid to take an uncomfortable stance and really show their community love. Um, Seen some pretty cool things in the fairly recent past from churches reaching out to communities that have not been loved well by the church specifically, and really just throwing their arms open wide and saying, we're sorry for the way that you've been treated, and we love you, and Jesus loves you. Um, I'm amazed when I see things like that, because it challenges. It's sad to say that it challenges normal thought, but I think it does. I think it challenges normal thought. There are things that have been that are so faux pas that I think sometimes the church is afraid to touch those subjects, and thus they become afraid to touch those people, and those are people that need love too. So I'm amazed at communities and churches that take it upon themselves to really reach out and love on people, genuinely love on people. Let's take another question. Let's see here. Mimi, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you so much. Let's see. Favorite place you have lived? Well, I'm a born and raised Seattleite, or Washingtonian, so I've never lived anywhere else. I love Washington State. So I guess I'll go with places in Washington. I will always, always, always have a huge soft spot for my hometown of Snohomish. Even some of you are going to think I'm weird. I know my wife thinks I'm weird, but there's a certain time of year in the Snohomish Valley. So you come down Highway 9, it steeps a long hill right down into the valley, and as you're coming down, especially in fall, when the air is getting like really cold and crisp, there are tons of farms and things down there, and the crisp air mixed with the smell of like the farmland and the cattle, like that is one of my favorite things on the planet. So Snohomish has been one of my favorite places. Probably always will be. But I think a very very close second to that would be the first apartment that my wife and I rented right after we got married, and that's just simply because it was like our first space together, and just it was the very first time we could say this is our own. This is we're paying for this, and nobody else can say that. Um, so that was those are pretty great things. Pretty great things. What do you wish you made more time for in your life? Music. Music. I My schedule is pretty slammed constantly, and I mean I work a full time job. Uh, I'm connected with two churches right now, our home church, and then I'm partnering with another church right now to do some cool things with their worship team, and then I connect with other churches around the Northwest and help them help guide their worship teams and sharpen them. So the schedule stays fairly busy, um, but when I'm not doing those things, 100% of my heart and my energy is being poured into my ladies, my wife, my daughters, um, all the dress up times, all the tea parties, all the princess movies, all the unicorns and ponies, all that. But I would love to have more time. I need to make more time to write and do music. Let's see here. What other question do we have? I think I'm going to do just a couple more questions here. What do I remember most about my wedding day? Besides my hot wife? Huh? Um, I remember that we had this really cool coffee bar. We're total coffee addicts, shamelessly addicted to coffee, shamelessly. And my wife works for Starbucks, so Sarah's a Starbucks wife, and I get those perks. Um, I remember we had this coffee bar that we were so excited about, and after everything was said and done, and Sarah and I are in the car headed away from the wedding to our hotel room for the night, and we realized that neither of us got to drink any coffee from our coffee bar. So we were like, oh, that's sad. Um, Maybe that's not the best memory, but I remember uh, during the reception, we had just some fun dance music going, and some of our closest friends we were just cutting a rug, and I remember Justin Timberlake's "Sexy Back" started playing, and Sarah started dancing and kind of like backing it up, and we actually captured a picture of me as she's doing this, and I'm just kind of like looking at things going, I don't know what to do here. It was really funny, but no, just being able to kind of cut loose and be crazy was great. But anyway, you guys, I hope that you have enjoyed hanging out with us on the first ever. I mean, technically it's the second ever because we did a quick live stream for New Year's back in January. But these are going to be more regular. I'm hoping to actually create a space where we'll have some fun stuff up on the wall, and make it a little bit more appealing than just a corner of bland paint behind me. Um, but I'm really looking forward to spending more time with you, getting to know some of you, answering your questions, and talking about parent life and life in general, because this is what it's about. It's about relationships, it's about spending time together, doing life together. And I'm so thankful for everybody that tuned in who might see the live stream after the fact. Y'all are amazing. I love you. Thank you for tuning in with us. And we'll see you again very soon. Facebook family or YouTube family, y'all are awesome. We'll see you again very soon.